I'm going to transform 5 houses my viewers sent in my Discord. For each house, I'm going to spend a different amount of time fixing it, starting with just 1 minute for the first house and increasing the time for every build, ending with an entire day for the final house. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to fix a house in just 1 minute, but let's get into it and find out. The first build I have to fix is this house built mostly out of spruce and oak. It's a simple house, but in just 1 minute, I'm really not sure if I can make any significant improvements. My plan though is simple. Change the oak roof to dark oak and then try to get as many random spruce details in as possible. So let's see how it goes. All right, let's get started here. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I actually prepared a couple world edit commands for this because I feel like these will kind of be a big help. So yeah, there we go. All right, dark oak roof looks way better. Kind of darker block palette in general, I think kind of saves this build a lot. Let's get like sort of logs coming through here. Yeah, it helps a lot. Okay, clip these windows. Kind of just round the frame out a bit. Some lanterns. Let's get flowers out. Oh, we're out of time. What else we do? Grass. I want to do something else, but I don't really have, that's all I got time for. All right, you know what? Honestly, not bad. I'll take it. Pretty much all I could do before I ran out of time was changing the block palette and adding flowers, which although is not much, I honestly think it kind of saved the house. But if this was done in just 1 minute, let's see how much I could do in 5 minutes. Real quick before we move on to the next house, I just want to say I got a Discord link down below. I'd really appreciate if you stop by. We got a lot of cool people in there, you know, some build tips, that sort of thing. I also got a Minecraft server, southhall.us, you know, more info on that in the Discord. But yeah, let's move on to the next house. For the second house, I knew it would be a bit more challenging, but not because the house was bad. Actually, the opposite. The house was already pretty good, so I have no idea how I'm gonna fix it. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, so there's a couple things that stand out to me in this house that I guess I could fix. There's some weird like kind of imperfections with the roof. Like, I don't know why that block's there, so may as well get rid of it. Also, the gradient is a bit weird. As you can see on the back, it's kind of blended differently than the front. Like the front is kind of in more like a band. So I think what I'm gonna do is sort of like fix up the gradient here, I think. It's not like much of a gradient, but it's still a bit of a gradient. So it's kind of something like that. So I'm just gonna go around and just fix texture real quick. The roof is also like a bit weird. I don't know how I wanna do this, but like, I'm not the biggest fan of like these sections where there's like 2 blocks. So like maybe some stairs. That looks worse though, I think. I don't think I'm able to fix the roof shape in the amount of time I have, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. I think I like that shape a little bit more. All right, well, I'm running out of time fast. Let me get some like spruce details out because there's some stuff around the windows, but I feel like there could be like a lot more. I think it would look better. Need some glass out as well. I think it's look better like this. Not the biggest fan of this either. Something like that, maybe. Okay. You're seeing the vision. Get some flower pots, like a fern or something. I don't know. Some chill. I like that window detail though. I think we'll try to do something similar over here. Sure, I guess it's not bad. I feel like I kind of like the idea of just some random like spruce details around. I don't know. I feel like the door could be bigger too. Again, like I said earlier, I'm kind of like grasping at straws here because like I do like this house, so I don't have a whole lot to fix, honestly. Couple lanterns around, and we're almost out of time. All right, that's all I got time for. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I didn't make that much of a difference, honestly, but I was kind of set up to fail here. I fixed the textures up a bit, fixed the roof shape, but that's kind of it. So yeah, let's move on to the 15-minute house. For the third build, I'll have 15 minutes to fix this really interesting house. There's some unique blocks in here like netherwood, bamboo, and red sandstone, so I'm really not sure I'll be able to fix it while keeping its distinct block palette, but I'm gonna try. My plan is simple. Fix the roof, texture everything, and add details. So let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, so first up, this roof gotta go. All right, gotta go. I spent the first 2 minutes just removing the old roof from the house completely since I figured the shape was beyond saving. Once it was gone, I started planning the new roof. I knew I wanted to keep things simple since my 15 minutes were ticking down way faster than I expected. So I just went with a simple pointed roof that I've built a million times. All right, I think I like that roof shape. I don't know. I think it's all right. This side is even, so I can't really do much over here, but whatever, that's fine. We only got 15 minutes. Like I don't have infinite time here. So I gotta get moving. With the shape of the roof finalized, all I had to do was decide on a block palette and then fill it in. I settled on an orange gradient starting with acacia and ending with red sandstone at the top. All right, we got just like the shape of the roof finally done. This is taking forever and I'm running out of time. So I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in bad. I spent a lot of my remaining time just smoothing out this gradient and adding trapdoors because I thought they looked cool. And to be fair, they do look cool, but I was very quickly running out of time. And I still had basically the entire rest of the house to do. 9 minutes in and the roof is done, okay? And it looks better, but we have a lot to do and not a lot of time. We have under 6 minutes. So what do we even do next? I think I'm gonna fix the windows because they look kind of atrocious, I'm not gonna lie. I also think I wanna like texture this slightly. Just get something going on here because it's kind of rough. Why is there so many windows? All right, let's get some flower pots in just kind of like to break up how much orange we got. And then we'll see what we can do in the remaining time because there's still a lot to fix, but not enough time, you know? All right, flowers. All right, this porch has to get redone too. Like there's too much, bro. There's too much stuff that's wrong. I don't know what to do. We're like almost out of time. What is this? Like, why is there carpet down here? All right, I gotta address the elephant in the room here. Whatever's happening here. I'm gonna try to keep a yellow trim, but we gotta fix this up a bit because it's kind of terrible. Sure, why not? Let's get some lanterns around, some chains. Dude, this like red, like there's no way to save this. There's just no way to save this. Like anything I do will look terrible. I got an idea for down here. I'm gonna make it like some kind of patio, I think. It'll be tough. I gotta fix this like foundation too. Again, I wanna like try to keep the palette, but there's just too much orange and we're almost out of time. That's all I got time for. Oh my God. Okay, it's better, you know? It's better. Honestly, for 15 minutes and for what I started with, I'm pretty happy with my improvements here. I feel like I kept the original spirit of the build while making some big fixes. Hopefully the next one is a little better though. For the fourth house, things are finally getting real. I'll have 1 hour to fix this medieval house, and a few things stood out to me as easy fixes immediately. The palette was a bit flat, so I knew I wanted to add another type of plank in there somewhere, and there's also a lot of stone. Also, the house kind of looks a bit smushed, like it could have been taller, so I'm gonna add a block or two of height to each floor. And with an hour, I'm feeling pretty confident that I can do it. So let's get right into it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. The first thing I did was basically to completely gut the entire house. I got rid of the details, windows, walls, floor, and roof. Everything had to go. I wanted a clean look at the frame of the house so I could start fixing it. So I'm gonna start on this like left side here. I'm just gonna see if I can make this look good at all. I'm not sure I like this double overhang. Maybe if we raise it up a block, like maybe we do something like that. And obviously like we'll make this like 1 taller as well, so it like kind of matches with the proportions. I think I like that more. With the frame itself finalized, I added some trapdoors and shelves to add some shape and then filled it in with blocks to get an idea of how the palette would look. Okay, I like that. That kind of has like nice proportions to it. It's kind of tough, so we'll go with this kind of scale for the rest of this build. All right, so I got rid of the right side of the house just so we could make one side of it and then flip it. I don't like that it's on an even center anyway, so I'm gonna like add a block here. So it'll be 3 across. But anyway, let's kind of keep building with this sort of scale for the rest of this. Fill everything in, you know? I filled in the entire shape of the house using the front part as a template. Then I added stairs and trapdoors for shape, but there was a problem. All right, so something has come to my attention. It's even. So do we shrink it or do we make it one bigger? I think I'm gonna make it a block smaller and see if I like it. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. And also on the back here, this is also even. You know, maybe take that as a lesson from this video. If you're building a house as a roof that meets in a point, it has to have an odd wall. Like every wall has to be odd, basically. All right, but anyway, with that, I think we're about done with like the frame for this whole like half of the house. I like the way it looks. Kind of made the bottom look a bit more like sturdy with like some shelves in it. Top, not so much. I like the way it looks though. I think what I'm gonna do now is flip it to the other side and we're gonna see what it looks as like kind of a completed build, you know? Well, there's no roof, but you know what I mean. Okay, that's a pretty big improvement, I would say, over the original. I'm pretty happy with it. With the bottom of the house coming along, it was time for the roof, and I was not looking forward to it. Not only does this house have 3 roofs in the front, but also a large main roof section and the back, which I didn't know at the time, but it would become a huge pain. The roof in the back was far too wide for a simple pointed roof, so I struggled for a huge chunk of my time trying to get some sort of curved roof that would look good. Eventually, I got to a point where I didn't hate it, and I could move on to filling in the blocks. And for the roof, there was a big decision to make. Stairs or blocks? It might seem obvious to use stairs as I go up to follow the frame, but I actually decided to use blocks instead so I could later get in more detail with stripped wood, shelves, and trapdoors. And although it took forever, the roof was finally filled in. All right, and that is the roof done. Okay, I may have made a slight oversight. Let me explain here real quick. You know, just filling this roof in, you know, all going according to plan. So yeah, there's a slight issue. A couple ways to fix it. My first idea is just to slope it back with stairs, see how it looks. I don't know, we'll see. Not terrible. Maybe like a more extreme slant. I like that. That looks good. We'll go with that. It fixes the problem. Okay, not actually as big of an issue as I thought it would be. All right, but with that, that's basically like the general shape of the house completely done. And I'm pretty happy with it. Like really, I think it's a pretty big improvement over what we had before. Now it's time though for like stuff that takes a while, but it'll make a big difference. So we gotta get windows in. We need to detail the foundation to kind of texture it. Texture the walls, of course, texture the roof, and then just like all the small details, lanterns, flower pots, that kind of thing. So let's get started with the foundation first. Why not? Get some blocks out. All right, so I got my kind of preferred foundation texturing sort of blocks it out here. I'm just gonna go around and I'm just gonna detail all this. Surely it'll, you know, it won't take that long, right? Right, guys? It did take that long. I spent over 5 minutes painstakingly placing 9 different texturing blocks on the foundation. And although it took forever, it made a huge difference and was definitely worth it. That took forever. Oh my God. All right, we only have 20 minutes left for the rest of this build. So suddenly like time is like a bit of a question now. I don't know. I think what we're gonna do next is go around and just decide where all the windows go, and then I'll texture the middle floor, and then we'll be getting there. I put a bunch of windows everywhere using a mix of full blocks and panes. I tried adding some window frames and shapes to keep it interesting, but I kind of hate it, so maybe let me know down below if you like it or not. All right, windows are in. We're actually getting there. We're getting there. We only have like 15 minutes left though, so we gotta really think about what we want to do to like maximize detail in the time we have. I actually did notice something that kind of bothers me. Like back here, there needs to be something here. I'm not sure how I want to do that. I could maybe just do this. We'll see. I guess. I mean, it's not perfect, but like we don't have all the time in the world to make it perfect. You know what I mean? Maybe like this though. Yeah, it's not bad. It's good enough for me to move on. You know what I mean? All right, real quick on textures oak. I'm just gonna do a world edit. All right, real quick, yeah, just texture that with the world edit. It looks good enough. Like, I just need a bit of randomness in there to kind of break up the planks. And now I'm gonna texture the roof, which is gonna take a minute, but I think it'll make a pretty big difference. So I'm just gonna get that out of the way real quick. It was not real quick. I spent half the remaining time texturing the roof. I used some strip of wood, trapdoors, and shelves to kind of add a weathered look to it. And although I'm super happy with how it came out, it left me with almost no time to finish the rest of the house. All right, that took absolutely forever. We have less than 8 minutes to do the rest of the details on this house. I'm kind of freaking out right now. I'm not gonna lie. Let's get the door in though, I guess, and then we'll get all the window details and lanterns, and we'll just see if we can do that all in time. I don't know. I'm stressing. The house desperately needed some color. So after getting a quick door in, I went around and added as many flower pots and lanterns as I possibly could. Filling in the empty space with flowers was a huge help when it came to making the house look complete. Path, I guess. We'll do a mud path, I guess. Why not? Get some grass in. We're almost out of time. Oh my god. Low-key cooking though. Like, even though a bit too close for comfort on time here, but I think we're gonna be all right. And in the final couple minutes, I blacked out the windows so you couldn't see that there was no interior, and then I added some grass and leaves around to make the house look more blended in the terrain. And that is time. Honestly, really happy with that, especially compared to like what we started with. I think it's a pretty solid build. It's not like groundbreaking or anything. It's just a pretty standard medieval house, you know, I'll take it. I'm pretty happy with how the house came out. I think it still keeps the spirit of the original while looking way better and more detailed in basically every way. So with the our house out of the way, let's move on to the final house. It's time for the final house. I'll have 12 hours to fix this wizard tower. I know what you're thinking. 12 hours is not an entire day. And you're kind of right. Basically, I'm spending 100% of my free time for an entire day working on this build, so I think it counts. I don't have much of a plan going into this other than to scale it up and build a bunch of terrain. So let's get right into it and see what I can do. 3, 2, 1, let's go. First things first, I needed a plan. For smaller builds, I knew I could get by just winging it, but for a 12-hour build, I needed some kind of idea of what I was gonna do. So for the first 20 minutes, I got out the good old pen and paper and did some sketches. If I could pull this off, it'll be the biggest thing I've ever built in my 15 years of playing Minecraft. I figured out the scale I wanted for the build, and then I downloaded Axiom. For anyone who doesn't know what Axiom is, it's a super powerful building mod that helps you make large-scale builds in a fraction of the time. I usually try to avoid using it, but for something like this, it was basically a necessity. All right, so we are now on Axiom. Yeah, I love Axiom. Yeah. For real though, like a project of this scale, there's just no way it would work without Axiom. So we're using Axiom. I'm gonna start just planning out the shape and like the height and everything of this mountain in like red wool, I think. I don't really know how tall to even make it, but we'll figure it out. I spent 20 minutes struggling to learn Axiom to make a wireframe for the first mountain. I don't really know what I'm doing, if that's not obvious. Once I was happy-ish with the first mountain, I moved on to the second smaller one beside it. It's kind of what I was going for. I mean, you kind of see like the vision, right? To some extent, maybe. And then in the middle, there'll be like some kind of like cliff sort of face that kind of curves out with the wizard tower on it. I think it'd be tough. I don't know how high I want it to be. I kind of want the wizard tower to be like a similar height to this mountain total, but if the cliff is like here and the wizard tower is like really big, then it might be taller. We might run out of world height, but I don't know, they raised the world height. Never mind, we're good. With a finished wireframe, I thought the worst part was behind me, but I could not have been more wrong. I ended up spending almost 3 entire hours of my 12-hour timer literally just filling in the shape of 2 cones. It was agonizing. 2 hours and 40 minutes for 2 red cones. Oh my god. All right, so we got a very simple 2 mountains finally done. Well, they're just cone shapes. Obviously, I gotta do a lot more work, but real quick, what I wanna do now is kind of get like a bit of just natural sort of sloping landscape around them. Like, I don't want them to just be sitting here, so I want some kind of, I don't know, we'll see. Let me get rid of these first though, actually. With the mountains themselves done, I quickly got in a rough idea for where I wanted land around the mountains, just to make them feel like they didn't just land in the middle of a super flat. All right, so we got like a kind of gradual hill going up to it. I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it's not crazy. I'm obviously gonna do more with it at some point, but I'm just trying to get in like the really broad stroke stuff here because we're like 3 hours in and we have no detailing. This is taking forever. Oh my god. I haven't decided yet if I want this to be like on a beach or not, because like this is kind of decent like island shape, I feel like. So that might be the move. We'll see. Kind of depends on how we're doing on time, you know? I'm now going to DoorDash Chinese food. Heartbreakingly, no restaurants were open yet, so I continued hungry. I smoothed out some imperfections in the shape of the mountains, and then finally, 3.5 hours in, it was time to decide where to put the wizard tower. My original idea was some kind of cliff that came off of here, and that might look pretty good. All right, let's just say that's the wizard tower, right? I don't know how accurate that'll be to the final scale, but let's just see what that looks like on this mountain. Okay, that actually like doesn't look that like ridiculous of a scale. I think I want it about here. We'll see. But that scale works, I think. So I started on the cliff for the wizard tower. I knew I wanted some sort of dramatic overhang on it to kind of play into the magical theme of the tower itself. Using Axiom made this actually not that hard to do, and overall, I'm pretty happy with the shape I ended up with. All right, I think I like that as like a general shape. Obviously, I'm gonna like clean up a lot of this landscape stuff, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna make this tower like even bigger. I kind of want it to be like, maybe I want it to fill that space more. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm just trying to think of like some angles, you know what I mean? I think it looked pretty good. I think I'm gonna go around and finalize the shape of the mountain now. I'm gonna get a few more like just kind of ridges around, maybe some like flat areas for trees, that kind of stuff. And then I guess I'll texture it. It'll be fun, I think. Actually, Axiom will probably make that really easy, but yeah, one thing at a time here. I went around the mountain and added these ridges for me to later fill with trees and grass. Then I painted in some green wool to later replace with the blocks I'd actually use for the grass texture. I rounded the edges out a bit to finalize the shape, and I was overall pretty happy with how it was coming out. But to really see if I like it or not, it was time to add the texture. All right, well now we got the shape completely finalized, I'm gonna paint in the gradient because like Axiom is kind of cheating, so we can just go like that, and we could of course get like a smooth gradient all the way up. So I'm gonna kind of do that everywhere, and then hopefully I'm happy with the texture. I don't know, we'll see. Using these 6 blocks, I filled in the entire mountain, gradually getting lighter as the blocks reach the peak. All right, and in 4 hours, this is the state the mountains are in, so we finished texturing them for the most part. They look pretty good. I think they do look kind of busy, but I'm liking it so far. Let's just, keep working at the mountain though. Get some more grass in, all that stuff, and maybe it'll start looking a little better. We'll see. To break up this huge gray mass, I decided to add more grass around the ridges. I figured this, and combined with some dirt, would kind of help just blend the grassy areas with the stone areas together while also just adding a bit more color to break everything up. All right, it's coming along. Like, it's actually coming along. I'm kind of surprised. Obviously, it might look a little weird now, but like all these places will have like dried bushes, like grass, ferns, all that stuff to kind of make it look like obviously a lot more like this would be the landscape, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to explain it, but you know what I mean. It'll have plants on it and stuff, trees, all that. It'll look a lot better. So I'm actually like really happy with it. It's kind of sick. With the mountain itself almost done, and with orange chicken finally DoorDashed, it was time for the biggest change so far. I decided the mountain would fit in more as an island, but since I already built it, I had to raise the entire build up into the air and then make more landscape underneath it for the beach. Once I was happy with it, I filled in a massive area with water, and I vastly underestimated how long this part would take. It ended up taking over an hour and a half, and yes, some of that was me eating food with the timer still going, but still. I think that's finally it. Oh my god, look at all this water. That took forever. Oh my god. I started to lose my voice, my bad, so there might be more voiceover than me actually talking, but that took forever, but it made a huge difference, like actually. So now I gotta get some like proper beaches in. It's just constant landscaping stuff. I spent 6 hours building a mountain. Oh my god. And as I fill the beach in with sand, we reached the halfway point of the timer. 6 hours spent building a mountain, and we aren't even done, but it's coming along. I decided to just lock in and finish the mountain entirely. I textured the grass, added a mix of foliage everywhere, which really helped just make the mountain look more detailed and alive. I also added some seagrass just to kind of make the ocean look a bit less empty. All right, I think the landscape itself is done. All right, obviously I still need to add trees and maybe some leaves around, but other than that, it's done, except for that. I need to do this waterfall real quick, but it shouldn't be too bad. I think I'll just kind of get this out of the way real quick. I really gotta stop saying real quick. This waterfall took 45 minutes. Honestly, with a build of this scale, literally everything takes forever. At this point, I was getting kind of worried about the time I had left, but at least the waterfall looked pretty sick. I really don't know if there's any other landscape stuff to do other than trees, so I might just maybe make like 5 random trees just pasting everywhere to see how it looks. Yeah, let's go for that. Why not? I kind of suck at building trees, but I locked in and built a few simple pine trees, which I could then use Axiom to paste everywhere, and I was low-key really happy with it. All right, with the trees in, I'm officially done landscaping. No more landscaping. I've spent 8.5 hours building this mountain, and I'm meant to be building like a house or something apparently, or so they say. So let's get started on the wizard tower here, right? So right here is the build that we're supposed to be fixing. So, if you forgot, because I know it's been a minute. I mean, it's a wizard tower, right? But the kind of interesting parts of it, I think really are these like trees, which I'm gonna interpret as like Wxsteri. I don't know if that's what they're supposed to be. I don't know if that was the intention, but sure, I think they'll kind of cool, like unique sort of factor to this build. Figuring out the scale for the tower was surprisingly difficult. I didn't want it too much taller than the mountains or anything, but I also didn't want it to look too small when compared to them either. It was kind of just finding the right balance. balance. All right, so just using like basic shapes here, this is kind of like what I got just to like visualize it. Obviously, it's not gonna be like a cone like that. I just use like an axiom tool to kind of like get an idea for it. It's gonna be more of like that sort of shape where like slopes up to it gradually, obviously. But I think I like the scale of it. I might make the foundation maybe a bit like bigger and maybe the top part of it a bit bigger. This will obviously curve like in a bit, so it won't look as big, but I think it's enough room to fit like the weird like branch things coming off of it. So I think I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know. I gotta make this tower look really good because like I spent so long in this landscape that like if the tower sucks, like I don't even know what I'm gonna do, honestly. After finalizing the scale, I ran into an unexpected challenge. The roof. The shape was weird. I built shapes like these before, but usually just on a normal size building. But a tower this big, it was super difficult to get the shape of the roof right. And just like everything else in this build, it took forever. I'll take that, all right? For how long that took and for how bad it was going, I'm perfectly fine with that shape. I'll take it, I'll take it. All right, let's see what it looked like. I kind of want to keep the original palette, at least for parts of it. So I think we'll go for a mangrove roof, see how it looks. Yeah, sure, I guess. But that's kind of where the use of the stuff from the original build is going to end here, because we need spruce in here probably. Like, let's be real. I think it'll just look better. We're going to, again, just use placeholder blocks because I don't feel like actually caring about stuff right now. Building the top of the tower went surprisingly smooth. I used some placeholder blocks to get a nice archway shape for these openings, and then I got some supports underneath. All right, next up, I'm going to try to like add a bit of shape to this. I don't want it to look kind of like too, like it curves in too much, but just a bit of something, because right now it's literally just a cylinder and I don't like it. I added a very slight gradual curve to the shape of the tower, and I was really happy with how it was looking. And with the shape done, I could finally start getting some actual blocks in. I used a pretty simple gradient of stone blocks and finally got the base filled in with a mix of deep slate. Then I finally replaced the diamonds with spruce, and I could get some idea of how the tower would actually look once it was finished. Man, spruce and mangrove low-key like a generational combo. I am a fan of that though. That is really sick. All right, what do I do next? I gotta actually think about this. I decided to get started with a spiral staircase wrapping all the way up the tower. I didn't realize it at the time, but just like every other part of this build, this would again take absolutely ages. I kept up the theme of spruce and mangrove, adding shelves and trapdoors for some detail and some shape as the stairs went up. Okay, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna get some supports underneath it, and then we're moving on. My mouse stopped working. Oh my God. Finishing the stairs with some fences underneath for support brought us to the final hour of this build. Time was ticking, and it was looking way too close for comfort. I actually really like the way it looks. I just really need to finish this. I gotta kind of like think of what gets like the highest priority. So obviously we need a window, and I'm thinking just right here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get all the windows in real quick. I think I'm just gonna follow the staircase up, and then wherever it lines up on like the corners, I'll put a window. And then we gotta get the trees in, bro. We gotta get the trees in bad because I think they'll look really cool. I got the windows in as fast as I could, pasting a few around the staircase as it went up, leaving us with just under 50 minutes remaining. Oh my God, we're getting there. I wanna real quick like do some stuff up here, and then we'll get to the trees. I'm not sure what though. I actually want to change these supports to maybe something slightly darker. Maybe just that. I think this is too dark. I want it to still be like sort of the same color. So I think I'll just do that. And then I'm gonna move on to the trees. All right, that's the plan, that's the plan. I finished up the top of the tower as fast as I could, getting shelves in as a railing, adding some random details, and curving the frame with stairs. Then, just to make it look more finished, I got in a circular carpet at the top and started working on a centerpiece to fill the space. I'm not sure the lore of this thing, but looks pretty magical to me, you know? That's all that matters. Maybe like lanterns. We need lanterns and chains like everywhere, actually, now I'm thinking about it. I want to get the trees in so bad. I gotta lock in. And with some lanterns hanging in a circle, the top was finished, and I was pretty happy with it. All right, I'm happy with how it looks, at least from here. We gotta get these tree things in because they're like way too important to not have. And we only have 40 minutes left, so we gotta go. I like that though, that looks really sick. That does look sick. I need a, just so I don't forget, because I'm gonna forget later, I'm gonna get a quick staircase in down here, and then we'll get the tree things in. And after getting a quick staircase in, it was time. I had to build what I'd honestly been putting off this entire video. Trees in Minecraft are hard enough. I pretty much never have been able to build a proper tree besides pine trees. But it wasn't just a normal tree. I interpreted the hanging amethyst in the original build as a wisteria tree. So I started with the branches, trying to add as many places for me to later add purple blocks once I get to the flowers. Okay, I don't mind what I've got so far. I'm honestly like really bad at trees, so you know, we'll take what I can get. I kind of got it drooping a bit because in my head it's sort of like Wxsteri, so like I don't know. I'm trying, man. Let me try to get a block palette out. I don't really know what I'm gonna build this out of yet, but we'll see. I got out basically every purple block in the game and started filling out the branches. I tried to keep darker colors on the bottom and brighter colors on the top just to form some sort of gradient. Using glass and candles, I was able to fill out the branches with more detail. I also added these hanging flower things that I remembered seeing on this wisteria tree build my friend sent me like 2 weeks ago, which came in clutch. All right, I think we call it for this one. I think we just do another one, right? Actually, I guess we could texture the branch slightly, but I think we can get another one in. It took 20 minutes to build the first one, but with what I learned, I started building the second one even faster. And in my opinion, they looked really good. Bro, why am I kind of cooking though? Like, hold up. Since when can I do this, bro? All right, That fills the space up. I'm pretty happy with it. The trees look so sick. I'm like really happy with it. I'm just gonna get a path in and then like, wait, we're just gonna be out of time, I think. Using my last 5 minutes, I got in a super quick path leading to the wizard tower and then a bunch of trees around it. Finally, I added a bunch of hanging lanterns everywhere just to add a bit more detail and make it look a bit less dark. All right, with light everywhere, that is time. Honestly, hold up. Oh my God, look at it on the horizon, bro. It's so beautiful. Honestly, this build and also just the tower like on its own, maybe my favorite build I've ever built in Minecraft. I mean, the before and after, I mean, I don't know how we're even gonna do that, but I mean, I don't think it's even like registering for you how massive this build is. This is my house world. It's like 1.6 thousand blocks across for the water. It's 200 blocks tall. Like, this is literally just the biggest thing I've ever built in Minecraft. I'm super happy with it. Quick shader look. Like, come on, bro. With the final build done, that is going to be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was easily the biggest video I've ever made, so let me know down below if you liked it. Maybe I'll do more like this in the future. If you enjoyed this build right here and the other ones, all of them will be for download on my Patreon for just $3. I really appreciate if you join. There's a lot of cool people on the Patreon, a lot of cool people on my Discord too, discord.gg/rowannn. Highly appreciate if you join. I also got a Minecraft server. All that info is in the Discord, of course. But yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. And of course, as always, thank you to my patrons, Aelic, ThaMango, Tommi, Natural High, Lezlo, Crumbcakes, Speckyrifl, Bluebee, Val, GuyBuddy, Olivia, and Birdsknees. See ya.